One of the most serious problems facing public land hunters in the West these days is the lack of access to many of our large tracts of public land. In the arid plains and mountains of the West, most of the lands that were successfully claimed under the various Homestead Acts happen to be located near arable soils and water. During the last half of the 20th century, populations exploded in the West's towns and urban areas, while populations in the remote rural areas either stayed the same or in some cases went down. As early as 50 years ago, these private parcels that are serviced by public roads provided little hindrance to people who wanted to access public lands on the other side of the private property. Fast forward to today. Wildlife habitat and open lands available for hunting near our large metropolitan areas have been adversely impacted or simply obliterated by development. Hunters and anglers must range farther afield to take advantage of public land hunting and fishing opportunities. What's more, there's been a tremendous increase in the number of absentee or recreational landowners here in the West. This trend also contributes to access problems for sportsmen who hunt and fish on public lands. Most of these landowners acquired their property for the opportunities that they provide for hunting, fishing, and other forms of outdoor recreation. They prefer to reserve those opportunities for family and friends at the expense of the general public. Roads that were once open to the public are now gated and locked. In short, public access to public lands is not what it used to be, and it cannot be taken for granted. Sportsmen have worked with state fish and wildlife agencies to address these problems through voluntary programs such as open fields. In the case of open fields, officially called the Voluntary Public Access and Habitat Incentive Program, cooperating landowners contract with the agency to permit sportsmen access to private land for a fee. Since its inception in 1985, Montana's block management program has provided hundreds of thousands of sportsmen with access to otherwise landlocked public lands. Open Fields is a federal program authorized through the Farm Bill, and its funding levels to keep the program operating are being debated in Congress. Hunters and anglers support efforts to improve access to all of our public lands and to open up opportunities and access on private lands. We need to speak up and let our representatives know that we support these access initiatives, and we need to let them know the importance that they have on the future of hunting and fishing on public lands. And not just for those of us who happen to be lucky enough to live in the West or have contacts in the West, but for all Americans. To take action and to learn more about how we can protect hunting and fishing access to both public and private lands, visit the TRCP's website today at www.trcp.org.